How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring the Zao, the legendary tier Japanese heavy cruiser. Zao is a ship that I kind of compare to the Henry quite often, and I think rightfully so. Both are long-range HE spammers. We kind of need to figure out which one is better. Zao, for the most part, before the Henry buff, has been the better choice. Just its capability to HE spam and actually kite and torpedo is just simply better. And, well, more often than not, Zao is going to be more successful. Although, now we need to reconsider just because Henry 4, after its buff with our build, we have slightly more than an 8-second reload for 240mm guns that have a good fire chance, plus reload booster, and then on top of that, we still have some gimmick commanders that do funny things. We use Sarika just to get that 30% dispersion. But that allows you to citadel other cruisers fairly easily, and well, now Henry has a little more oomph to its main battery. Enemy Hindenburg is the only thing spotted. There is a destroyer at sea. Kind of hoping our friendly destroyer gets close enough to spot the enemy DD, just so we can actually shoot at him. Enemy Hindenburg shooting EP, so we do need to angle because Hindenburg EP does kind of hurt, and we'd rather not get like Devstruck trying to be greedy and getting all of our guns on target. I will need to turn in at some point though, because just simply staying angled away like this, especially if the enemy team starts running, then we're going to be out of combat for a little too long. So I decide to just make a game return. I mean, I don't think Hindenburg's going to dev strike me with just his front guns. It might hurt a little bit, but ultimately it doesn't do that much. We lost 4k HP, which I think is pretty good. Enemy Kleber gets spotted. He's just charging in towards our friendly destroyer. We do need to try and do as much as we can to this Kleber, because Kleber with the reload boost can be quite problematic for any destroyer, even Gdansk. But luckily, we do land quite a few shells, and our friendly destroyer is able to take care of this enemy Kleber. We leave him on a sliver of HP, unfortunately, but that's okay. Enemy Kleber goes down. Enemy Hindenburg is on fire and just getting cooked. I don't know if that's our fire, but I guess the fire does keep ticking. Our shells land. He actually damage con right before the fire would have killed him off. And, well, fortunately for us, we get our first kill and our first stack of reload mod for that 5% damage. Enemy Preußen was just twiddling his thumbs, I guess, in the back of his spawn, and he didn't really push in to support his team, which is great for us. Now he's just all alone and we can just farm over this island. So we're going to need to turn to the right and try to keep that island in between ourselves, just so we can stay unspotted. Or maybe I don't, not sure why, but I guess maybe we had one more salvo. Oh, I guess it's also because I'm trying to get into C-Cap as quickly as we can to try and get that XP from capturing an objective. And that Preußen is just going to keep sailing. I fire and get spotted. Not ideal against the Preußen, although I feel like he has kind of a lot to worry about right now since he's getting shot at by so many ships. Now we're ducking to the left to try and get that bigger island in between us, which we do. And now we're able to, well, duck and not get nuked. Enemy Gdansk is spotted all the way across the map. Funnily, Gdansk didn't really get to do anything and he's about to die. And luckily for us, that means they're not going to have any destroyers left. So we can kind of find an island, park, and start farming things across the map. We're close enough to friendly ships that we have refill station active, and we can start farming things across the map. I also just realized on the map that there is an enemy Stalingrad all the way in the back of their spawn. We're going to just try to set as many fires as we possibly can on those enemy battleships, and that's Stalingrad just sitting flat broadside. Even though Stalingrad has good armor while it's angled, it's not good enough to force a Zao to only shoot HE at max range. Zao's AP can in fact citadel a Stalingrad at max range, but chances are, I mean, landing that many shells, not sure if that'll actually happen. Little funny lag spike there, not sure why. But we do switch to AP. I'm kind of hoping this Seong gets or stays spotted, and then we can take a pot shot at him. We do fire our guns, but he does go unspotted in that dispersion. Doesn't really look that great. Stalingrad, still flat broadside. Unfortunately, our front guns don't clear, and Stalingrad is just broadside and now going to reverse. We look at our torps to see how fast he's going to be reversing, and he's basically going to be reversing at full speed. We only get one citadel, unfortunately. Ideally, we would have been able to get more. And then this time our rear turrets don't clear. Kind of unfortunate. Dispersion this time looks pretty good. But Stalingrad reverses pretty quickly, especially with the prop mod bug. So I'm not sure that we will be able to finish him off quickly enough before he starts to angle, which he does, and all of our shells land short, unfortunately. Enemy Seong starting to turn towards us and wants to kite. I'm assuming he's also going to try to smoke up, which is not going to be great for us. So I take a pot shot over this island, hoping that he glides forward. And unfortunately, we don't land any shells because he slows down a lot faster than I thought. But at this point, he is now stationary. He has smoked up to try and farm us. And luckily, Dispersion favored us, and we're able to get 4 citadels, and we dev strike the Seong. We do need to worry about deep water torpedoes though, and at this point with that Stalingrad just bound reversing all the way to the back of the map, I don't want to keep pushing towards him because now all of these ships at A are pushing in. This is a crossfire and a dev strike waiting to happen, so we just slow down and we start reversing away from the Stalingrad. Ideally we can reverse fast enough that we are in cover again, but now we're going to start getting focused by everything that's starting to push in. Enemy Stalingrad, also now angled, is going to start pushing in. So now it's our turn to bow in, reverse away. I decide to angle to every ship that's shooting at me instead of just angling towards the Stalingrad. So at least this way we can survive a little longer. Luckily though, other side is just Wisconsin and the Schlieffen. We do have a 30 casemate, so we should be fine. Stalingrad switches back to AP, which is great for us because as long as we're angled, Stalingrad isn't going to do much with his AP, and we can just simply out DP him and burn him down before he can do any sort of meaningful damage with his AP. But at this point, he's also going to start reversing away as well. Enemy Wisconsin has pushed in far enough that we don't have to worry too much, and we're just going to simply try to go unspotted here and then try to angle away from the Stalingrad. Ideally, Stalingrad will realize that nothing's spotted, and then he'll start pushing in and maybe put himself in a position where we can just farm him to death. So I start sailing closer to the Stalingrad just so that I can turn away while keeping the island between myself and all those battleships on the other side, and keep them basically right on the edge just in case they keep pushing, so I can go closer to the Stalingrad. With Stalingrad also pushing in, there is a good chance that our torpedoes might have a chance if he turns towards us. Stalingrad pushing forward again. We fire our HE. But yeah, he's broadside. We probably could have gotten away with AP and citadeled him again. But yeah, I'm assuming Stalingrad will probably want to turn away and then start kiting away to the border. But he hasn't made any sort of move. He's still just sailing in a straight line. I aim pretty high because I'm assuming he's going to turn away. But he's still kind of going in a straight line. Fire chance not being very favorable against the Stalingrad though. We only got the one, and we've been landing quite a few shells. But it's not giving us the fires that we need, especially that salvo. Even though we shattered a bunch, I'm pretty sure we still should have started fires. But it is what it is. Stalingrad has traded a lot of his HP. We finally get a fire. Stalingrad does damage con that. But it's a cruiser, 5-second damage con. Our shells are going to land by the time the damage con is over. So we just hope for another fire, which we do get. So I guess we just needed to complain. And I guess RNG's gods gave us the fires that we needed. Set a second fire. Stalingrad at this point is basically dead. Enemy Alaska is charging in towards our friendly Preußen. And there's not much that they're going to be able to do about this now. That Stalingrad stayed the furthest away from the battle. And, well, was probably the most useless to the enemy team. And, well, finally, well, you'll see in a little bit. But Alaska tries to brawl a Preußen. Unfortunately for Alaska, though, Preußen just has some fantastic guns that reload way too quickly. And, well, Alaska's not able to get anything done. But yeah, that's Zhao. Zhao's ability to farm everything with HE is pretty ridiculous. 3,300 base XP match. We got a high cal and Confederate. So overall, pretty good match. We also had some good showcase of the AP when we dev struck the Seong, and even Citadel the Stalingrad at max range. So the AP pen, you can definitely Citadel cruisers, but that Stalingrad, he yeah, he ended up placing first on the enemy team. Ugh, excuse me. But he placed first, reversing and staying flat broadside at the very back of the map. That's... I mean, I don't know if it's because Stalingrad got to farm everything without taking damage until we farmed him, or if his team was that bad. Not sure, but either one, not great. But at least now, Zhao and Henry is a lot closer into their performance and what they can both accomplish. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more and share with your friends, or leave a comment down below for other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway, guys, till next time, aloha.